Hey, everybody. This is Mother Theresa. It is Tuesday night, 7:03, just a few minutes late, but I want to welcome everyone to Grandstanding with Mother Theresa. And I would just like to say I missed you all on last week. I missed you all. I missed being able to grandstand with everyone. But of course, we had some important business to take care of. Um, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So, first of all, welcome everyone who has joined in with me on tonight. And I just want to make sure that I give you all a little bit of time to join in, give you all a little bit of time to get all of your stuff together. Make sure that you have invited somebody to join in with you. I'm still trying to make sure that I am logged in correctly. And I just want to say, you all come on in the room, bring a friend, send somebody a text, let them know that we are grandstanding on tonight. And again, I missed being with you all on last week, but of course, we had some things that we needed to take care of. I see that my family is here with me, and so I am so very grateful to have everybody here. Let me take off this clink clank bracelet because it's going to be hitting this glass top and it's going to create a lot of noise. So let me just take care of some business before we get started. So what did you all do? What have you all been doing since the last time that I have talked to you all or that we have grandstand? I know life, as people say, life is just lifing. And so as life is lifing, what are you doing? What have you been doing? Put that in the chat. Let me know what's been going on. I see my husband. I see my sister. I see my mom. And let's see who else is here. I need you all to send a text and let other people know, hey, join in with us and let's see what we're going to talk about tonight. Well, let me just tell you, if you all said hello, grandstanders. So for you all that pretty much follow me on Monday mornings, what I have been trying to do is share with you all information about, or kind of give you all a heads up of what I'm going to talk about on Tuesdays. And so when I share with you all the information about finding your purpose, that's what we're going to talk about on tonight. We're going to talk about finding your purpose. And let me just say this. I saw something that just popped up and it says, you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me to earn money and make more content. And let me just tell you all, as we are learning what all of this means, I can just tell you all that, hey, hello there, Net, that when it says send stars, that's actually, it's a way that you can help support what I'm doing by actually sending a money. And of course, I'm not on here asking you all for money, but that is what that means. So I've had several people that when it says you can send stars, they will put little stars in the comments, and I welcome that as well. But what it actually means is that you are able to, on social media, help support content creators by actually sending them some little soft love. And so if you feel compelled to do that, then go right ahead and do that. But again, that's not what I'm asking you for. But I've learned not to turn away any of the blessings that God has for me. So let's get started. I wanted to share with you all about finding your purpose and discovering the purpose, God's purpose for your life. And what I wanted to share with you all about finding your purpose. You know, sometimes when people are talking about, if you all see me looking all around, my desk has papers all over it. So I'm looking at my desk, I'm looking at my papers, I'm looking at my notes that I have and everything like that. So that's what I'm looking around, and you all can just kind of see different things. And I also have my, hey honey, I also have my book that I'm going to share with you all. Basically, this kind of what I'm talking about tonight is hold on. One of my lights went out, but my honey is here to the rescue, because you can push that and that'll give me a little bit more light on this side, and you can just push it and it'll go to the other thing. So chapter 41 in Conversations from a Mother's Heart, it talks about uncovering hidden talents. And basically this goes along with my topic for tonight in finding your purpose, and finding out what God has created you for. What are you here for? We are not here just because we are here, but God created all of us for a specific purpose and for a specific reason. And so we have to find what that purpose is, and what is our job and our purpose while we are here on this earth. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you all, is that a lot of times when people are trying to discover what their purpose is, it seems like it's a long, tedious journey. And sometimes it can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And the reason why I say that is that it sometimes, and even I, at one point in time, I was struggling with, what is my purpose? What is the reason that I was created, that I was born, that my mother and father came together and created me? Why am I here? What am I supposed to leave with the people that I encounter on this earth? What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? And so I struggle with that a little bit. However, I say that, but I really believe that I've always known what my purpose was, why I was created. And I can tell you is that when you discover what your purpose is, a lot of things in your life will begin to make sense. I can recall conversations that my mom had with me as I became an adult. And she would tell me about me. I would talk to the people that would come to the house. And for instance, she would tell me that when of course, for some of you all that are as my age or older, back in the day, insurance salesmen, they would come to your house to collect your premiums. And so, for some of you all, you can remember having that premium, that a little like a brown envelope, either somewhere right next to the door where it was on the wall, and that insurance salesman would come in, step inside the door, take that little piece of paper out of that envelope, do his little writing. And I don't ever remember seeing female insurance agents. It was always men. And so they would come in and they would get that little piece of paper out of that envelope. They would write down whatever, collect the premiums, and then they would go on about their business. That's what I remember as a child. But I also remember as an adult, my mom would tell me the story that she would tell me to stop talking to the insurance person, the insurance guy, because I was always just trying to talk, always just trying to talk. And not only, probably talk to him, but I recall her saying, I would just talk to people. I always wanted to talk to people. And as an adult, I see now what was happening. And my mom also shared with me is that one of the insurance salesmen had told her to stop trying to hush me, because we never know, she never knows what I may become. And so, and that's absolutely correct. My job is I talk to people. I get in their business and I try to help them along the way, walk alongside them as they're trying to figure out the things in their lives. And so, and I can recall even as a a young girl growing up in Oak Hill Plaza, the projects, I can recall some of my neighbors, especially Miss Mabel, where I would just go in and I would sit with her and I would talk to her and I would ask her questions. And and it sounds like, of course, I was being nosy, which I probably was, but little did I know what that was all about, what that was leading up to. I would also sit with my our next door neighbor, Nancy, who was really like our second mother. My mom's probably I would say her best friend when we were growing up. Nancy was our next door neighbor in the projects, and Nancy was a single individual. She did marry later on, but during our lifetime while we were neighbors, Nancy was never married. Nancy never had biological children. So we were her children. And so we would go over and, we would sit down and we would watch television with her. Nancy would help perm our hair on the weekends. Cynthia and mom and even Net that's listening. Hey, Erica. You all know the stories and the time that we spent with Nancy and also Miss Mabel. But as a young child, what I was doing, I was developing my craft, so to speak. Hello there, Bree. I was developing my craft of what I was to become or to do as an adult. I didn't know all of that at the time. Oh, I miss you too, Erica. I really, really miss you, Erica. I didn't know at the time that that's what was happening, but I knew that I enjoyed doing that. I knew that even in our community where we live, where I remember the most of my childhood, I remember that there were people in our neighborhood that did not have the same things as other people that lived across town. I noticed that some of our people in our neighborhood, bless you too, sweetheart, Bree, I noticed that some of the people in my neighborhood, and again, I grew up in the projects. There is no shame in me telling you about my upbringing because I know even that helped to create my purpose. And so I say that there were people in my neighborhood that just didn't have. You talk about the haves and the have-nots, where well we were the have-nots. Now I'm just going to say when it comes to love and having a lot of those things like family and having that closeness and all of that, of course we definitely had that. But there were we my mom had to budget, and she had a strict budget. I can't say that we went without, but I do know that it was a struggle. And because it was a struggle, one of the things that I knew that I wanted to do was figure out how the people in my neighborhood could have the same things as the people across town. And so I think that's part of what I knew that my purpose was. I knew that I wanted to be a social worker, of course, and I've shared this with you all before. I didn't know I didn't know what a social worker. I didn't know that that was a title of a person, but I knew that I wanted to be a person who helped other people. And I can say that one of the examples that I saw growing up was we call her Miss Bertie Bell Wade. Miss Bertie Bell was a social worker, and we would see her. She would come into the neighborhoods, and I think she was related to Miss Mabel. So a lot of times she would be at Miss Mabel's house, and we would have conversations. I really got to know Miss Bertie Bell as I became an adult, and she was just a really great woman who I learned a lot of things from, even as a child. But let's get back to this purpose. How do you know hello there, Miracle. How do you know what your purpose is? And one of the things that I will say is that for some of you all who have ever felt like that you were stuck and you didn't know what your purpose was or what your purpose is, I would challenge you and I would say, start asking people that are in your circle. Start asking the people what you are good at, what seems to come natural for you. What are some of the things that you enjoy doing? And I'm not going to say that you would do it, because some people will say you would do it without even having to get paid. And I won't say that, but you enjoy doing it so much and it comes with ease. And I can tell you that me having conversations and talking to people and being an encourager to people, which I believe that that is my purpose, to be an encourager. But it comes about with me having conversations with people and me talking to people and me wanting to help people. Because if I can talk to you and if I can figure out what is going on with you, then I want to be that person who gives you a word of encouragement, gives you a word of support. Now, am I always that person? I'm not going to say I'm always that person, but for the most part, I am, and it's not something that I have to really work on. It's like it comes natural for me. It's like that's who God created me to be, was who I am. And that's no different than any one of you all that's listening to me right now. Hello there, Barbara. And hello there, Christy. It is no different than any of you all that's listening to me right now, is that God created you with a very specific purpose in mind. When we think about some biblical examples, we think about Jeremiah, who was a prophet. He was called before he was born. And lately we've been hearing a lot about Esther, who was positioned for such a time as when she was able to do what she was needed to do, which was to save her people. But you and I are no different. God created us with a very specific purpose in mind. And again, what I will tell you and I will share with you is that if you don't know what your purpose is, if you do not know what you were created to do, then start asking people. Start asking people that are in your circle, as I stated before, what are the things that you see me doing that I seem to excel at, or the things that I seem to do that you think of it as, oh, that's natural, or that's just something that she does without effort. Another thing, if you're connected with a ministry, with a church, have a conversation with your pastor and, ask your pastor, what are some of the things that he or she sees within you that maybe God has spoke to them about you. I had a conversation, my husband and I, we were talking about what our purpose is. And, and we were discussing that sometimes your purpose is connected with your employment, with your job, what you actually do. Hello there, Shekinah. And then, but that's not always the case. And so if you are working in a field that you feel like is your calling, your purpose, even though you may get tired of it, even though the people may get on your last nerve, you get back up the next day and you're ready to go again, because you get I'm not going to say a thrill, but you enjoy doing it, and you get back up and you go at it the next day and the next day and the next day. I often say, hello there, Sister Sherry. I often say that I love my job. I love what I do. And I really mean that. It doesn't mean that sometimes I may need a break from what I am doing, because it can be very stressful. But I absolutely love what I am doing. And I believe that because of what I know my purpose is that God was able to take my purpose and give me a job where I can operate in the gifting that he has gifted me with and the purpose that I know that I must fulfill. And so many of you all, and you may be in the same situation. Now, some of you all may not actually be working in the field that you feel like is your purpose. I'm gonna go back to the conversation that I was having with my husband, and so he mentioned my husband is a police officer. He's been a police officer for probably since 1987, and I may have that wrong, but for a long time he's been a commissioned peace officer, a master's. I think he has like he's a master peace officer. So that means that he's got a lot of experience. He has a lot of years under his belt, and but what he's doing now, I feel like God was able to take his love for being a police officer and mirror it with working with young people because he's in the classroom. Now, let me just tell you, when my husband first started, when we were in Nacogdoches and he was a substitute teacher. Hello there, Cousin Linda. When he started sub teaching, I just did not think that I would ever see my husband in a classroom teaching. And he loves it. He loved it. And now he's back doing that in a classroom. Now he's not a substitute teacher, but he is operating in his capacity as a police officer and teaching children about how to interact with police. And he believes that that is his passion of being able to give a word of encouragement to the young people to help them to understand how to make life choices, how to make, decisions that will be beneficial to them. And he's doing it from the lens of a police officer. So when I talk about finding your purpose and figuring out what are you here to do, what did God design you to do in this life at this very moment, I would say if you haven't figured it out, you need to get busy because most of the people that are on here listening to me right now is at least 20 years old. Okay. My mom may be the one that is probably the oldest person listening to me right now. But even for the people that are going to listen to me or listen to this on the replay or on the podcast, find out what your purpose is. And you need to get busy operating in the gifting and the anointing that God has given you. If you feel like you are walking in your purpose, please let me know because some of you all have found it and you are doing exactly what you should be doing. If you are not, start moving in circles that will give you an opportunity to discover what that purpose is. Some of us, we are definitely operating outside of that. And the reason why I can say that is because sometimes, when people are talking about they're miserable and they get sick when they have to go to work, or they are sick because they are not doing something that they wish that they were able to do. Because remember, I said it's not always where you are, it's your job. Sometimes it's a little side hustle that we may be doing. And let me just tell you, Miracle, you said, yes, ma'am. Are you operating in the gifting or in that, in the purpose that you feel like God has ordained you to be? You said, yes, ma'am. So I need to know, is that what you're saying? One of the things that I remember hearing, and this has been some time ago, you all, I'm trying to read the messages and keep up with everybody. I remember hearing something about a person talking about, when they would get ready for work or when they were on the weekends, they would get so sick because they were having to come to work. And they were having to come to work in a place that they felt like they did not belong. And they felt like that when they would get to work, they would just get sick. They just did not feel well and all of those things. And I remember having the conversation and I was saying, well, why don't you do something different? And they were saying, but this job pays so well. And I was like, so you're willing to be miserable. You're willing to be miserable rather than trying to figure out what it is that you are, you were created to do. And for them, it was a means to an end, or an end to a means, or however they say it. They needed to feed their family. So the job that they had, was all that they could do at that particular time. But they began to start kind of dibbling in some things, what they were really wanting to do, kind of on the side. And it kind of helped balance out how they felt. And eventually the person did quit the job, and they were actually able to start doing what they felt like was their purpose. And and having a conversation with that person later, they were able to tell me how fulfilled that they felt. And it was because they had left that job where they felt like they just could not live without it because of the money. And let me just tell you all, you hear people say all money is not good money. I believe that's 100%. That is so true. If you are miserable, absolutely miserable, start thinking of how you can actually, turn your passion and your purpose into an income stream, even if you have to start doing it part time. It's possible, you all. The closer that I get to retirement, I am trying to figure out some other things that I enjoy doing. I enjoy writing. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy traveling. And so you may have seen my announcement that I put out just this week about, starting a new venture with me being a independent travel agent. So more of that to come later. That's not what this episode is about, but that is part of, I feel like, my purpose. We enjoy road tripping. We enjoy being able to travel on a budget. And so I want to be able to show other people how to do that. And if I can make some money, along the way, then that's a win-win for me. But what I wanted to talk to you all tonight, and I know that my time, it is 7:30 already. I wanted to just kind of share with you all. I talked about what is your purpose. If you haven't discovered your purpose, I talked about this on Monday. If you haven't discovered your purpose, then you don't have much time. Listen, life is so quick and it's over. Seems like sometimes before it gets started good. And I don't want anybody to waste any more time trying to figure out what your purpose is. Listen, start asking some people close to you. Ask them, hey, what do you think I'm good at? What are some of the things that you can see me doing? Because let me tell you, sometimes there are things that we are good at, and it could be our purpose, but we don't see it. Sometimes other people have to call things out that they see in us that we don't necessarily see. And so Miracle said, yes, ma'am, I've always said I love my job and what I do. I just recently transitioned to remote with my job, and now I'm able to get back to my crafting and side business while working on my 8 to 5. Thank you, Miracle. That's exactly right. And so sometimes we have to pivot, and we have to transition, and we have to make those moves. And like Miracle said, just being able to work remote, this gives her an opportunity to still work her 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, but still gives her some time to do her crafting. And let me just tell you, Miracle, you are absolutely amazing at the crafting side of the things that you do. So definitely keep that up. That is one thing that you are really, really good at. And so, the great thing about what I know God is able to do for us is that He allows us to take those gifts, those anointings, and those talents, and the things that He deposits in us, and He allows us to have income coming from those particular things. And that's the way that it's supposed to be. I believe it's supposed to be. What I was going to share with you, and I know I'm beginning to ramble now, because it seems like when I use all of my time, I start trying to talk really fast so I can get everything in. But You're so very welcome, sweetheart. So I start seem like I'm rambling. But one of the things that I will say is that I heard a long time ago when I was trying to, like I said, trying to figure out what my purpose was, is that I listened to something. I'm always listening to different things, encouraging things. But it was saying that when you find your purpose, thank you, honey, when you find your purpose, God will allow your purpose. First of all, your purpose, when you find your purpose, it won't necessarily feel like you're working, okay? It's not going to feel like a job. But when you start operating in your purpose, God will allow your purpose then to become your source of income. And so, and I know that to be true because, like I said, what I do, what I get to do every day is go to work, and I feel like I am definitely operating in the purpose which God has ordained for me. And not only did I get to go to work, but they pay me really well to do what I enjoy doing. And to me, that's a win-win, but it's also a God thing. And I know we have to position ourselves to be in, to walk in that path. We have to position ourselves, and we have to know what we are, what we're all about and what we were created to do in order to put those things together. So again, like I said, learn what your purpose is. Learn what you are passionate about doing. Learn what makes you happy, and you all start operating in those gifts. One thing I do know is that God gives us each something special about us. There is not a person on here that is average. There's not one of you all that are average. God put some unique things in you, and you just need to find what it is that you are supposed to be doing. One of the other things that I know for me is that when I'm talking to people, a lot of times they'll tell me, Miss Caldwell, you are so comforting. Your voice is so comforting. It's so, soothing, or whatever, or, just whatever the different things that they tell me. But when they're telling me those things, or when I'm talking to them, that's not necessarily, that's not the goal that I'm looking for. The goal is for me to be able to just share words of comfort, share words of encouragement. And and I know when I'm doing that, a lot of times that's when I get that feedback to let me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it makes me feel really, really good whenever somebody confirms that I am operating in the gift that God has created me for. And so it just gives me confirmation to know that I'm on the right path. And so, and I get joy about that. I get joy knowing that I'm on the right path. And so I hope this has been helpful for you all tonight. I hope that that you all have you understand that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that each one of you all have a unique purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, I want to ask that just God, please open their eyes and give them, let them know what they were created to do. And not only that, but create a path so they can operate in the gift that they have. Let them walk in the calling that you have given them. And so I just want to say this has been a great night. This has been a topic that I think is near and dear to my heart. I will probably talk about it a little bit more because I feel like so many people, especially with everything that has happened and transpired over the last 7 days, people are in a state of, they're in a state, I'm just going to put it like that. And because they are in a state, people are trying to figure out, what to do next. And I'm going to just tell you what I stated before. We're going to trust God. We're going to continue to trust God. We're going to continue to walk according to what the Word of God says. We're going to continue to know that He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and that He is our Heavenly Father. And as long as we are abiding by the declarations that He has set forth for us, I believe that we're going to be okay. You know, we've had some setbacks before, and we have come through. We have, somebody said that every time a setback is given to us, we are able to not only move past it, but we are able to triumph. And so, because we are victorious people, a victorious group of people, we are God's people, then we're going to be okay. So I would just say that for those of you all that have been struggling for the last week or so, and just kind of, yeah, just didn't know what to think or what to do, we're there with you. But I do know what to do. I know to keep praying. I know to keep trusting God. And I know that if I continue to do that, that all is well. Yes, God. Barry said, pray and the Lord will reveal their purpose. You're absolutely right. In all thy ways, acknowledge Him. And that's what we do. We have to acknowledge God for every single thing. And I said that, I said once before, it's the little things. Sometimes we forget about the little things. We forget to acknowledge God about the little things. And if we can acknowledge God and say, God, I need you to help me find my car keys that I cannot find, then it's no problem asking God to move the mountains that's in our path. Okay, if we can get through the little things, it is no problem for us asking Him to move the big things. And some people may say, well, that's kind of odd, Mother Theresa, that you would say that, because it's the little things that we think that God can do. But guess what? If I pray and ask God to help me find my keys, which is such a small thing, and I know the power of God, guess what? When that mountain is in front of me, I'm definitely going to be asking Him to help move that mountain. Because if you can help me find my keys, you can help move that mountain. All right, everybody. Listen, you all have a great night on tonight. I appreciate you all being here with me. And you all share this. Let other people know that if they're trying to find their purpose, hey, it's not a mystery. It's definitely not a mystery to find your purpose. All you have to do is stay before God, ask some of your friends what you're good at doing, and then get busy. Okay? If you don't know what your purpose is, there are so many opportunities for you all to figure out what it is. And I see, of course, lots of people on here that I know that I can, if I had an opportunity to talk with several of you all, I can tell you, hey, your purpose is this, your purpose is that. I'm not saying I'm God, but what I did say, in case you all didn't hear me, sometimes other people are able to see things in you that you cannot see in yourself. They can tell you, oh, you're good at that. Oh, you're really good at that. Oh, you should try this because I've seen your work, or I've seen you speak, or I've seen you do whatever. And sometimes we are sitting on things that we know is our purpose, but because no one has spoke that thing to you or given you words of encouragement to say, hey, you can do that, then we just we sit on it. So I'm going to tell you, listen, figure out your purpose. Get with some people who can speak some words of life into you. Surround yourself with some good people like that. And I guarantee you, you can walk away finding your purpose. All right. My sister has said good night, grandstanders. And so I'm going to say good night to you all as well. But before I say good night, let's see. You all know that I have to share with you all. See, my grandson knows his purpose. And so because he knows what his purpose is, he's able to be a blessing to other people. Okay? So I'm going to share with you all part of what my grandson's purpose is. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Thank you all for the words of encouragement, everybody. If this episode bless you, share it with someone else so they can help find their purpose as well. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.